Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday. Hope everyone is hyped for Silent Hill Ascension Day 11. The train wreck that never ends. Like every time you think the train's losing momentum, and surely it's about to come screeching to a violent and sudden stop, it's like another train just shows up and hits it. It just keeps going. Mercurius, welcome back. Thank you so much for the 4 months of support. Very much appreciate it. Thank you. Welcome back. Hope you're doing well today. Hey, managed to catch the live scamathon. Oh, you're here for a very special day. Everyone who's here getting to experience this live right now, you're all going to get to take place in yet another moment of history. In fact, I think I can make this an actual collectible moment. For everyone who's here. Or I thought there was a way to do that. Make it a moment. Sorry, Moments is no longer available. Thank you for participating in the beta. Never mind. Apparently they just removed it. Like I tested this. Twitch removed it. That's okay. Don't worry. You can all remember this moment in your heart. But you won't get a fancy little badge next to your name. Apparently Twitch disabled that. So, we'll get right into the most fun part of the entire stream today. I can even say that ahead of the dev stream, ahead of the episode. The reason why it's a special moment is it's the first introduction of our first interactive scam point puzzle, or ISPP for short. And with the introduction of this first ISPP, you're all going to be able to interact with the stream and solve a puzzle for some scam points, potentially. And everyone watching right now, you can all take part. It doesn't matter what device you're on. All you have to do is relax your eyes, let your mind, don't focus on anything too particular. You're going to make a psychic connection with the stream. Just focus on that image in front of you with the swirling smoke, that fog that the community voted on having much more of. Let your eyes relax and sort of take that image in. And while you take that image in, you're going to realize that something is different. There's something here that wasn't here before. And you're just going to let your eyes relax. Don't really focus on any one thing. Just sort of look at the image as a whole. Take it all in. Kind of let the fog swirling around let you unfocus your eyes. You don't have to cross your eyes. It's not like a hidden image like that. But you want to just take your time, take the image in. Don't focus too hard on it. and sort of let it come naturally. And eventually, you'll start to realize you can see it more and more. More and more you can start to see the hidden image. Something that was there that was not there before. Staring off into the void, and you suddenly start getting the sensation that something is there in the void staring back. It becomes more and more clear to you. More and more clear to you. This hidden image that's been here the whole time is just becoming more and more clear until you did it. You did it. Great work, everyone. 1 star. It took you way too long. But that was a great first puzzle. That was a great first ISPP. The first interactive scam point puzzle. But the community did a great job. That was great. That was perfect. Well done, everybody. Well done. Because that was only 1 star, you only get 10 scam points for everybody who was able to find Eduardo. And due to an issue on the back end with the servers right now, those 10 points were immediately rolled back. So we'll be looking into a fix for that in the future. But thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you all taking part in our first ISPP. Really well done. Really well done. You didn't even have to spend scam points to get extra time. That was great. Nev has officially lost his mind. Yep. Pretty much. I hope everyone's having a wonderful Friday. We've got a dev pre and post stream along with our episode today. And I, of course, have a few things. A couple things I would like to talk about in the meantime. Can we leave Eduardo in the gas station for a few days? We'll have more ISPP experiences as time goes on. For sure, for sure. But here we go. So we've got some general Konami news that's been making the rounds, and I figured I'd talk a little bit about it and share some of my thoughts on it. So Konami is currently hiring. And there's been a few different sources, quote unquote news accounts and things on Twitter and stuff like that that are kind of circulating this information. But Konami's Silent Hill production team specifically is recruiting. They're looking for project managers, artists, engineers, and game planners. And this Silent Hill production team is based within Konami's own studio. So this is not hiring through like a third-party studio. This is directly through Konami. And a few people have already been showing this and bringing it up and retweeting it. And just recently we had an issue of misinformation, everyone getting all worked up about this supposed Pyramid Head origin story that's going to be in Silent Hill 2 Remake, that ultimately Konami had to come out and make an official statement and say that's not the case, and that it was all like blown out of proportion based on a misunderstanding from a developer interview. So this misinformation thing just, always plagues everything, but specifically a lot of information surrounding Konami and Silent Hill. So the fact that they're hiring wound up getting retweeted by Okami Games, where they said Konami is officially back in AAA game development with the creation of a new in-house development studio, Silent Production Team. And that's what the listing refers to it as. It's the Silent Production Team. And just to kind of give some context to all this, it's not very sudden. This is not suddenly Konami is hiring for these positions. For some reason, it just recently started circulating, as far as a bunch of different news outlets. But this has been known since October 2022. They make reference to it during the Silent Hill transmission, even, where they mention, wanting people to submit, applications and stuff. And we saw that there were job openings and things. So this is not necessarily new information. We knew about this all the way back last year, over a year ago now, with the Silent Hill transmission, that Konami was hiring for specific roles regarding the Silent Hill franchise. Now, to say that AAA gaming Konami is back because of these positions being filled and them putting together a Silent Hill production team within Konami itself, I think is a little bit too much of an exaggeration. There's too many assumptions being made there. And what I want to kind of cite as far as like an example is this has been done before with like Silent Hill Downpour. So with Silent Hill Downpour, there was part of the development team which was internal, that were people who were direct employees of Konami, and this was people like Tom Hewlett, who were in the production and direction roles for things like Silent Hill Downpour. So he was an internal employee. He was part of an internal development team for Silent Hill, games that were being produced, and that production team was called Team Silence, in reference to the original Team Silent of the first 4 games. So it even says it in the credits and everything for Downpour. It references Team Silence. So this is something that we've seen before, and obviously, as was the case with Downpour, it was not a AAA quality game that was developed entirely within Konami. It only had a few of the main, producers and directors and basically overseers of the project being internal teams from Konami, whereas the majority of the work itself, the graphics, the systems, everything related to the actual core development of the game itself was still outsourced to Vatra, based out of the Czech Republic. So this is not, I think, as big of a deal as people are making it out to be, the way a lot of news sources are reporting it as, like, Konami's making their internal development team again, specifically to focus on teams, it's the new Team Silent, basically, is the way people are kind of phrasing this, where they've got this internal dev team that's doing the Silent Hill games again. They're hiring to fill those positions. And, that might be the case. There's a chance that is ultimately what their goal is. But based on how they've operated in the past, I don't think it's accurate to assume that would be ultimately what they're hoping to do here. Most likely they're just trying to fill some of those internal roles while still outsourcing things to other companies. Genvid, we already know No Code is doing Townfall, and that's being published by Annapurna. We already know that it's Neobards doing Silent Hill F with Ryukishio 7 writing it. So these are still all the games and everything that's been announced. You know, Silent Hill 2 Remake is obviously still being predominantly headed by Bloober Team, even though they've got like Akira Yamaoka and Masahiro Ito kind of overseeing the project. But yeah, can someone link the job posts? Only available in Japanese. I'm only 30 days in on Duolingo. Yeah, gotta get those numbers up. Work on your Japanese until you can get Nihongo Jozud by native Japanese speakers, and then you'll know you're ready. You'll be ready to work within the offices of Konami. But yeah, just wanted to talk about that a little bit. Konami's hiring for roles related to Silent Hill. If you have experience in the game industry and speak some Japanese, fuck it. You want to really change Silent Hill canon forever? Try to be a sensible person working on the production team. I doubt you'll actually get a whole lot of creative control, but you never know. You never know. They didn't want to give a whole lot of creative control to Takayoshi Sato, and he almost walked out of the project on Silent Hill 1, but we still got Silent Hill 1 out of that, and it was successful enough that they gave Sato a bigger creative role for Silent Hill 2, so you never know. You never know how these things will shake out. Let's see. That's pretty much all I got as far as any kind of news. I did tweet at the official Ascension account, but it's basically just me screaming at clouds, old man yelling at clouds at this point. Because yeah, they were going through, they've posted a few of their they post little story updates. You know, will Carl end up teaching Ava how to shoot? What did you choose? Hashtag Silent Hill Ascension, hashtag horror, hashtag creepy. They use the same like things every time too, like horror, creepy, Silent Hill. And I went through and replied, we're 11 days into the story and barely know who Carl and Eva are. The most information about Eva came from a tweet rather than anything in the show and game itself. How is an audience supposed to care about decisions revolving around characters we still don't know anything about? I'm not expecting an answer. I'm just, again, yelling at clouds. That's what Twitter's good for. But yeah, it's silly to me that they're still, you know, it's the social media person's job. They've got to go through and do it, but it's just silly to me to still see that it's like, oh, what's going to happen? Is Carl going to teach Eva how to use the gun? And it's like, we barely know anything about either of these people. Ava literally just showed up in an episode. And if it wasn't for subtitles, we wouldn't have even really known what her name was. Carl says it like once. And through context clues, it's like, who is this? Is she part of the Johansson family? I thought everybody in this town hates the Johanssons. Who is this person that just showed up on their couch one day? We need to rally. What are we rallying on today? Oh, let's claim my daily login. And you'll notice I've got a few more points. I think I leveled up once, probably off stream. where I was testing some things out again on the mobile version of the app. And because people were posting that they were having issues with the mobile app. People were trying to open the app and it was just like a big wall of code would show up. There's a whole bunch of screenshots of it where people were having that issue that people shared in our Discord. So I was trying to see if there was any sort of issues or things with the mobile app, and sat there, and as always, Rachel a lot of times is in here keeping me company and listening to me rant about things. And we're sitting here and I'm testing stuff on the phone and seeing how stuff kind of compares, because most of what I do with streaming it and all of this is just through a web browser. You know, this is just a Chrome window. And went through and tested out stuff on the mobile just to see, like, this is essentially what it's designed for. Like, more than anything else, this is meant to be experienced on a phone. We've got that impression from the way it's designed, the UI, the interactions, the way the developers have talked about it. They expect most people to have been experiencing this through a phone. And when you're trying to do stuff on the phone, it's even laggier. It's even more prone to crashing and needing to be reset constantly. It's even worse. You try to recap and watch episodes and everything is dark and washed out. It's already hard to see even on, like, a browser window on like a good monitor and everything. And it's even, on a phone, you can't fucking see shit. Like, everything it's so bad. It's so fucking bad. Oh yeah. Rachel pointed out another thing with this. If you've never been on the app and decide to play a game, it's going to jump you into whatever the highest available level is immediately. The tutorial for the mini games doesn't start you at level 1. It just puts you on whatever the highest level is for that day. So if you waited 11 days and today or tomorrow is your first time and you decide to check out, please don't, by the way, but in this hypothetical, if you decided to check out Silent Hill Ascension and jump in, and tomorrow's your first day playing, and you try out one of the mini games, it's going to put you on the hardest level of that mini game the first time you ever experience it. It doesn't just default you to level 1. I did some more testing on the point values, the reward values for the mini games. And sure enough, it is, if you're playing and trying not to invest money, you have to make the most efficient use of your time. You have to try and get the most out of your free puzzles and things like that, right? So if you're using that sort of mindset and you're playing for free and you're trying to get the most out of the free points and shit that they offer, it's more efficient and better overall to get a 1-star rank the first time you play a level of a puzzle. You actually get better rewards overall if you get 1-star, then 2-star, then 3-star in that order. If the first time you play it, you fucking nail it and you get 3 stars, you don't get as much of a reward as if you had gotten 1 and 2-star previously. So the reward values and stuff for the puzzles is all weird and fucky. If you jump in on like day 20 or 30 or whatever, it's always going to start you off on like the hardest puzzle available once you choose one to interact with, rather than starting you at level 1. And again, the puzzles are not worth it. I had a whole rant with Rachel about how there's a reason why Candy Crush is popular, something like this, Candy Crush and these types of match shape, match color, match whatever games, these types of puzzles are popular. They've always been popular for a long fucking time, and it doesn't take much to make them good. You think about Candy Crush and Columns and Bejeweled and anything that's even remotely kind of similar to stuff like this, and you think about like the visuals of it, how visually pleasing it is to see those things like move and line up, and when a row goes away or when you hit a power up or a bonus or something like that, the combos, it's supposed to be visually satisfying. It's the audio is supposed to be pleasing. It makes all these nice pleasing, you know, sounds that are designed to keep you hooked, you know, to keep playing Candy Crush. There's a reason why those types of games are popular. This has no music. This has the most stock, like, grating sound effects. Nothing special if you use like a power up. Nothing special when you hit these big combos. The animations are all laggy and choppy. It's not satisfying visually. Like, this, with some effort, it still wouldn't be good. It still wouldn't be worth spending a $20 season pass to be able to play or whatever. But at the very least, this would be fine, you know, if it had that satisfying visual and audio element of something like Casual Crush. We'll just call it that. We'll stick with my mispronunciation. Casual Crush. So it just needs to be satisfying. It just needs to be something visually and audio satisfying to, you know, be pleasing, and you don't have to think about it so hard. You just sit there and you touch your fucking screen and you move the rocks around and go, yay, I did it. I got the points. That's something that, sure, it's not great, but if I'm fucking sitting in an airport terminal and I've got 20 minutes to kill before my flight shows up, I might sit there and fucking push some rocks around. I might be willing to interact with your thing if it had something satisfying to it. And it's so lazy and so bare bones and just so unsatisfying. That's the biggest problem with these puzzles. The more I look at them, the more I realize, like, at the end of the day, they're not really fundamentally the worst things in the world. You know, these kinds of number puzzles and stuff are popular for a reason. These kinds of match games are popular for a reason. Stuff like Wordle had a million fucking spin-offs and is still super popular for a reason. There's like, these are good, engaging puzzles when you wrap them in something that is satisfying, when you have the satisfaction when you complete them, or, you know, all you have to do is make it a little more visually appealing, a little more better sound to get that audio sort of satisfaction, better feedback with it. And like, some of this could actually work as being little time killers, you know, not something you're meant to pick up and play for a long amount of time, but when you're sitting there mindlessly, you know, killing 4 or 5 minutes, then whatever. But yeah, it's so badly presented. It's so lazy. There's no fucking point. As that To Be on Reddit revealed, there are chapters. Okay, yeah, so that is, I guess, a little bit of news. We can talk about that. I think the pre-show is going to start in, they usually do it like 20 minutes before, right? I think it's going to start in a couple of minutes, but really quickly, the high quality 4K re-uploads for the first week of Silent Hill Ascension, which basically equates to one full episode. I can't fucking talk today. My brain's turning to mush. So there's basically one episode of Ascension that's done. So it's on Bravia smart TVs and some Sony PlayStation 5 service that requires PlayStation Plus, and Tubi. It's available on Tubi. High quality is a massive over-exaggeration. Technically, the video is in 4K, but like, that doesn't make the models look better. That doesn't make the animations look better. Like, it still looks like garbage, but now you can look at garbage in 4K. So enjoy. But we got a full list of credits along with that, something we haven't had yet. So we have a full list of the voice credits. We have a full list of developer credits. We know specifically what people from Behavior worked on what people from Senscape worked on what. So there's a little bit more, I guess, information on the staff and the cast and everything like that. Looking up most of the cast, a lot of them are actors with IMDb pages. Some of them only have like 1 or 2 credits, but they still have other credits outside of Ascension. Nobody really seemed to be like completely brand new to voice acting or anything. The most interesting two to point out are Orson's voice actor and Faith's voice actress. The 2 children of the 2 families are voiced by Stephen Bugai, the chief creative officer of Genvid. They're his children. They're voiced by his children. Oh, we're live. Dev show. Eduardo. Oh no. Oh, we had Eduardo for one brief shining moment. And it's gone. Look at this loading screen. You can unlock this. Yeah, this legendary loading screen. Soak it in. There might even be a hidden Eduardo. Everything's broken. Even the pre-show doesn't work now. Come on. This is supposed to be the highlight of my Friday. As sad as that is. I was promised Eduardo time. Hey guys, we're working. Yeah, don't worry about it. Might need to close. Is it working for other people?
Beloved Sister Rachel.
Working on mobile. Here we go.
Spill her blood, not just for those gathered here, but for the sake of all in this town.
Don't worry, we're recapping.
The withering ends tonight.
Don't worry, it's just a recap.
Now,
the same thing they do for every single dev stream.
I still don't know why.
What was that?
But
who in the hell was that?
Faith have put us all at risk.
A withering.
So tonight, I submit myself to the Purifier's cleansing.
See, now we know which voice actor to thank for giving us that amazing line delivery.
Yes.
You know what happens if the Purifier judges you unfavorably?
I do.
Then who have you chosen to perform the ritual?
Specifically,
I ask my fellow acolyte, Krista.
Let's see. Adrian Di Giovanni. Adrian Di Giovanni, who voices the male cameo voice. That's who we have to thank for a withering here. Sorry, I'm losing my voice, so. Oh, here's relatable everyman Toby with his Molotov cocktail. He just fucking whips it right at Xavier's head.
Toby, what are you doing?
Yeah, it like teleports out of his hand. It's such a weird looking animation.
What the fuck is this?
Xavier?
Is the audio okay?
Eric?
I think they have the audio for this a little bit lower than usual.
Judgment.
Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed either watching that
Oh,
for the
there we
first
go.
time or watching it again. Noah, what was a really striking moment for you in that scene?
I have a confession to make, Eduardo. I am really into Krista lately. And I just like zoomed in on her. Even though there were the monsters and fire, I'm just like, I'm Team Krista now. She has bad vibes and I like it.
Team
So that's fair.
Krista.
So you heard it here first. Noah on Team Krista. But speaking of which,
This character who
let's
we
look
don't
actually at
know
our story
fucking
so far.
anything
Noah's gonna
about.
break it down for us. You see it on screen. Our second week in Pennsylvania.
We don't know
Right,
anything about
so-
anyone
So
still.
we ran into a former Foundation member.
Yep, time for the recap
they
of the
disclosed
recap.
some of the organization's secrets. And we also had Rachel undergo a ritual, as you saw, to end the withering that Toby interrupts. And then all the Foundation's members, Toby and Rachel, see. Well, it says undisputable proof.
Is
but,
Noah
you
from
know, I
Genvid
think
or an
it's pretty
influencer?
disputable
These are all
that
people
the
from
withering
Genvid.
is spreading in this shocking clip we just saw with my boo Krista. So that's what happened this week in Pennsylvania.
Perfect. And one of the things that I think is fascinating out of that is there's a lot of heavy lift actually from that sentence. You know, Toby runs into a former Foundation member, but that Foundation member was actually a member of the audience. Get who cameoed in that scene and won a cameo contest, and we got their avatar into the scene. So that was actually one of the audience members playing the extra, so to speak, which was really nice to see. Again, one of the key scenes I think in Pennsylvania for this first and second week has been Toby and the bottle and the bar.
Toby and the bottle and the
Right.
bar.
Yeah, Toby and the bottle and the bar. He can't let that drink
What?
go. And I noticed this theme also in the Silent Hill Ascension world, and I can't blame them with all the stuff they have to deal with. But it seems that a few kind of took to the bottle to handle their issues, and it kind of makes you question: what are we seeing?
Didn't realize
Are we seeing
Eduardo's wearing a
withering?
Silent
Are we
Hill
seeing
hoodie.
just an internal withering
Is
of
it?
the psyche.
Is it a Silent Hill
Or
hoodie?
what
I didn't
is it that we're
notice.
seeing? What do you think, Eduardo?
Well, that's the thing.
Oh
right?
yeah,
It's-
I saw it. I
mean,
saw the logo right
one
there.
of the key things, right? It's like Toby sees Joy, but that's clear. Something's clearly up there, right? Because Joy's dead, as we all know and love. So that's the thing. Is
We all know and
something's
love that
up.
Joy is
Now,
dead.
What that up is
I'm pretty
that's the
indifferent
dispute,
about
that's
it
where the
because we still
speculation
don't
is, and I'm
barely
definitely
know
not gonna
anything
spoil
about
for the
Joy
audience their
or
good
any
fun
of the
and trying to
people in her
figure that
life
one
or
out.
anyone
But you
involved in
can
the
definitely
story.
there's definitely that moment,
And
though,
we're
where,
11 days in.
They collectively all see right that monster. That changes things a lot. I think that's a pretty key moment.
Yeah, for sure. The monster is. I wouldn't want to spend time with that monster. I don't want to get sucked into that void mouth.
What are they ranting on
thingy.
about?
It's kind of disturbing. But between the Foundation
That
members and the
she wouldn't want to
monster,
be
it's
in Silent
you
Hill
don't
with a
really
monster.
have anything nice to see.
Isn't that
if you're
relatable,
Toby,
Silent
you
Hill
don't have any
fans?
welcoming thing. You only see what monsters, human or fiction, or figments of trauma. But speaking
Trauma.
of which, let's talk about Norway.
Yeah, let's talk about
Astrid,
Norway.
Called her estranged sister Brit.
Let's recap
she was
the
watching Orson
Norway
at the park,
recap.
but lost track of him. And then, determined to get Orson back, she confronts a stranger that is holding her missing son's toy. And then Carl buries another pile of remains left on his farm. And Eva, weird Eva, urges him to teach her how to defend herself. She's such a weirdo.
Well, one of the things with what's going on
Ava's
in
a
Norway,
weirdo.
right?
In case you
and
haven't
this is
picked up
something I
on
was
that.
noticing. In week one, you kind of have the
She talks
matriarch
about
and the
biting
matriarch,
people
right?
as
You
a
have
children,
Ingrid
as a
who's
child.
died, and you have kind of the scene with Carl and Ingrid, and that's the kind of the focus.
She talks
right? It's
about
really on
like
those two
taking
characters.
home
But
dead
in the second
animals
week,
to
it seems we've gone down the generations,
study.
and it really has become a lot more about the relationship between Astrid and her
And
son,
she knows how to
Orson.
magically manifest
I
a
believe
gun
that's what I'm
into
looking
her
at
hands.
here.
Yeah, that's how I'm perceiving it as well. And that's actually really stressful what happened to Astrid. Like, imagine, like, stuff goes down there. Like, Carl was just minding his own business, and then all of a sudden he sees some monster stuff, and then his wife's dead, and there's a needle there, and he doesn't know what happened. And then Astrid kind of experienced a similar thing with her son.
Those sure are the events that happened 10 days ago.
Since she was sucked into some otherworldly stuff, and back to see, back to reality. The stranger was like, "Yo, you were gone for an hour, so I called child services on your ass."
I mean that's the big thing. It's like Astrid is
let's not brush past that.
A traumatic event, right? The mom's dead for sure, but it's also
Astrid wandered into Silent Hill, wandered back out of Silent Hill, or not Silent Hill, but random spooky other world, I guess.
It's starting to affect the relationship.
And then we saw a fucking cameo create a character,
forcing obviously the relationship between
tell her
Astrid
that
and
she
Carl,
called
like,
CPS.
fascinating in itself, and that was a little bit of that transition between the
so now
first
Child
week and the
Protective
second week.
Services are going to come and take Orson.
Here is that all
honestly
a lot of the
good
decisions that are being made by the audience around
correct
these
thing to do. Good call.
Kind of come with like an underlying tone, right?
Good
You've seen
call.
redemption, suffering, and damnation. Now that's kind of
just call CPS. Just call cops. Why don't you just call cops on the monsters? Are you stupid?
Yeah, I love redemption, suffering, and damnation.
Just call Child Protective Services on these crazy families.
And endurance streams and the puzzles, all of this contributes to whether a character will face redemption, suffering, or damnation in the Silent Hill Ascension final. And their fate is decided across the season, across the length of the season, and a character's hope needs to be high enough for them to survive a crucial story moment. So keep that in mind. And yeah, how much I love these terms. I started seeing them everywhere I go outside of the show. I'm like, is this redemption, suffering, or domination moment?
Yeah, your whole worldview is starting to be distorted. I mean, I personally.
I'm constantly asking myself that question because the whole redemption, suffering, damnation arc doesn't seem to really apply to what any of the choices actually are.
The key things here, right, is the fate is attached essentially to the long-term outcome of these characters.
Why does this screen keep flickering?
That's coming from the decision, and then that's
I think that might be my window capture.
I hope, right? And that's like a character's outcome towards survival. And that comes from kind of the endurance scenes, and we'll get to that in a moment. We actually have a little bit of a special surprise for you there. And the mindfulness puzzles as well, which are in the arcane library. And actually, Noah, you really enjoy the mindfulness puzzles, right?
Right. I love the mindfulness puzzles. Some of them.
She loves the mindfulness puzzles.
I really love them.
She loves them. She's all about this right here. Yeah, don't forget this one. Loves them. Love them mindfulness puzzles. They're so good.
Always free, so you can always affect the story at your leisure. But
and they're always
one
free.
Of the things is I know the decision is going to close very soon. We have little time. I'm actually going to check myself quickly.
So you can experience that garbage
here,
for free.
It's the how will Rachel get Eric to make Toby back off, right?
James Sundereland, thank you so much for gifting a sub
as we can see here
to Kzev.
Right.
Very much appreciated. Thank you so much.
On screen here. So Noah, if you can walk us through.
Thank you for the support, Kzev.
I kind of read off my phone. I was a little bit.
Enjoy the emotes. Enjoy
sure,
the
no
extra.
And don't be rude, Eduardo. We're
scam
here
points.
audience. No, but how will the game is the
Thank you so much, James
the series
Cinderland.
is addictive. So, how will Rachel get Eric to make Toby back off? Will she tell Eric to reason with him, which is the redemption, or B, will she tell Eric to humor him, which is the suffering route? I'm dying to know what that's about. And then C, you have tell Eric to threaten him, which is clearly the domination option. You have a tight race here?
Not really, no. Let's be
Not
honest.
really?
The redemption option is pretty ahead. So there's a high chance we see that. It says here we're like 6 minutes and 35-ish seconds away. So, you know, I mean, you could rally.
60% redemption, 60%.
Yeah, so there's a high chance we see that being indeed the option. So the audience is heavily leaning towards that, like essentially having going to you know, her husband Eric and
Blast
Eric and
my
Toby are
shady.
friends, right? And having Eric essentially going like,
Did you see
need
it?
To tell Toby to blah, and blah, you're deciding redemption.
Did you
here,
see
the
it?
audience
I
at home,
changed
so that's probably
Silent
to
Hill
be to
history.
reason with him. So she's going really for the rationale, taking time, thinking through things.
Was it worth 1,000
Given he
points?
burst on the scene like he
I
did
blasted.
on Wednesday,
So anyway, I
It's pretty-
started blasting.
you know, and they're in a cult. That's pretty nice, to be honest.
Right. I think like reasoning with him, I feel like everybody is Team Toby, kind of, you know? Even in a way, the foundation.
Everybody's Team Toby.
Some of
Are
them
we
more than
still
others,
going with
but,
the
like,
narrative that Toby is
Toby-
the
After
relatable?
what he's seen in
Everyone-
the ritual
everyone
that he
loves
broke
Toby.
into with the Molotov cocktail, after what he's seen, I think he can be more persuaded to like believe stuff the foundation is like. I don't know why I'm kind of like always
Did you blast the
kinda
ball
team
gag
foundation a
sticker?
little bit
Oh,
too.
hang on. I got
I'm
points
kind
to
of, like, playing
spare.
on all sides.
It makes sense to me, you know, because in the typical cults, you don't usually get reality like that. But you know, when they espouse something, it's usually not reality. In this case, there's an actual.
Oh, I don't have it here
I'm
available
more
to
willing
blast.
believe them than not in that
Only
scenario.
certain
And you're
stickers are
correct, right? Like,
blastable?
now that Toby's kind of seen the dark, it makes sense. Now, all that said, by the way, because the show's coming soon, I did want to remind all of you at home.
Oh,
that
here
we're
it
gonna
is,
have
here
an
it is.
interview with our director of production, Shelling Light. After the show, some
Promote.
of you might have seen her last month. They have a brief appearance. This time, we're going to take more time with her.
There it
to
is.
discover the person, one of the important people really behind the scenes here. But because it's almost time for the show, I did hint a little bit at surprises.
Ball gag promoted.
One of the things is we hinted Wednesday, if you did well in the scenes, you'd see a boss. That didn't happen.
Worth it.
Tonight, you will see the special communal boss. So once the cinematics
Oh.
are done and you've seen the scenes
We get a boss
and
fight.
you're in the endurance scene, the boss will be there waiting for you. I'm not going to spoil the boss, but you will see it. So
We're
as a reminder, the
guaranteed
endurance
a
scenes are gonna
boss
see one of
fight.
The best places to earn large amounts of influence points.
Unless,
one
of
the
course,
things is
it
the
breaks
characters going
again.
for those scenes, right,
Because last
that's
time
gonna
it
affect their hope.
completely
So if
broke,
their hope
and
is low, they may
I
not survive
think
future
I know
encounters.
why.
So if you succeed, their hope goes up. If you fail, their hope goes down. Again, this is part of the story. It's not necessarily a judgment on you as a community or you as an individual. If you find the endurance scenes a little bit too harrowing in terms of pacing, you can always do the mindfulness puzzle, as we mentioned earlier. They're always available for free within the Arcane library.
Yeah,
at
if you
the
don't
top.
want to,
But
if you don't want to
Noah,
go
you
through
were there
the
Wednesday.
endure
You hyped up
segment,
the
if
audience
it's
on
too
the special boss.
challenging
You're
and
quite
scary for
different.
you,
But we've got the
you can
new
always
news tonight.
chill with a
Tonight, they're going
mindfulness
to see
puzzle
it for
instead.
sure.
I'm excited.
You can always go play some guitar.
But I wasn't too sad.
You can always go
because
do
I
a
knew
slider
that it
puzzle.
will come. And now
If
is our
endurance is
time.
too challenging and scary.
We are guaranteed to see the communal boss
This is
tonight. And
such a
because
fucking
of
joke, man.
The community's feedback. Thank you so much for giving us the feedback. The endurance scenes are actually going to be shorter, and we're really looking forward to seeing you.
See, they shortened the endure segments, and I think that's why it broke last
we're
time.
gonna get to see the awesome boss sauce. So I'm excited. You better be excited. 'cause I
Awesome
wanna
boss.
see that boss with me.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely looking
Noah
forward
just
to it. And again,
promised
thank you
us
so much,
awesome
everybody who's
boss
given their
sauce.
feedback at Genevieve.com on all the public platforms. We're listening to you, and hopefully you'll enjoy the treat we've got for you tonight. But I mean,
Yeah, we're 2 minutes away from show. So, Eduardo, could you recap everything? We had a lot
Oh
going
my
on.
God.
yeah,
Recap
there's
it
a lot.
again,
we're kind of,
Eduardo.
like,
Please.
ending our second week
Please.
here in Pennsylvania, Norway, Silent Hill Ascension.
Let me get my notebook.
Really, in Pennsylvania, the big thing was essentially Toby coming in and those rituals around the foundation. That was kind of the hallmark moment. If you haven't seen it,
The foundation sure be doing them rituals.
In Norway, it's really about moving the relationship between
And
Colin
then Toby threw a Molotov at them.
How these things evolve. So again, the current decisions you'll see tonight, you'll see them plan out in front of your eyes. They'll become canon. Now, again, as
They
a
become
reminder,
canon. Got it.
after the show, actually after the cinematic scenes, you'll see actually the special communal boss. After that, we'll have special guest Shelling Light joining us. Unfortunately, Noah will be leaving us.
First we wrap up the pre-show, then we watch the episode, then we fight a boss, then we get a post-show.
I'll see you all next week and enjoy the show, enjoy the interview. It's gonna be awesome.
Bye, Noah. See you on Monday.
Enjoy the show. Eduardo, Noah, we're gonna sign off, and we'll see. And I will see you right after. Have a great time.
And we get more Eduardo later. That's what I'm talking about. A boss. Are you excited? I can't wait to see the boss mechanics. Do you think it will be more or less fun than my game? Than my Is PP game at the start of the stream? We'll see after the boss fight what people think. Whose game was better. We'll hold a vote. All right. Is it time? Story starting in 5. We're already seeing community bars for some reason. Here we go.
Toby.
There's good old relatable Toby.
Toby.
What do you want from me?
Are you kidding me? The bars are blocking the
Answers.
subtitles.
Justice.
You
Blood.
stupid
Tried
shitheads.
that, remember?
Can't do anything right. It gets worse
Look,
every
I'm
day.
sorry for everything. I was a shitty brother. I know that.
Well,
I can't
sorry,
change what I
subtitle
did.
readers.
What I didn't do. But I'm asking you to forgive me. Can't that be enough?
No.
Joy?
New DBD killer Joy. Is this the boss fight? Maybe?
Fuck?
Is that why there's bars? This is what we get for apologizing, by the way.
Hello, Toby.
Oh,
Stay away from me!
she puked up Rachel.
Stay away from me!
She puked up a Rachel. Sure. Meanwhile, in Norway,
So sorry I'm late. Another client went over our time.
Oh, you must be...
Aurora, from the Barnavane.
oh, Aurora. This is one of the characters we're
Sorry.
first meeting,
I had an image in my mind
but
of what
her name
Barnavane
was in
social
the
worker would
credits.
Cold, cryptic, ready to snatch your child because you sneezed funny?
be. Something like that.
This is our
I
CPS.
know there are scary stories about us.
This is the
But I
social worker.
find openness and kindness yield the best results. Now, can you talk to me about what happened when you lost track of your son?
It's my fault. I turned around
Community
for a
went with
second
take
and he was gone.
responsibility.
The fog was really thick that day.
There is an awful lot of fog in this town. I had some trouble with it myself today. I'll consider that in my report, but that's no excuse going forward. You need to keep a closer eye on your child. Now,
So you
about
chose
the
to
person
take
who reported
responsibility,
the
and
incident.
she came up with the
They said
excuse
you
of
were
the
hiding,
fog.
away
Also,
from the
did the
crowd.
audio just completely fuck
Why
up?
was
What's
that?
going on?
Obviously, that's ridiculous. I was looking for him.
Stalk for the
By hiding.
shadows.
Well, no,
May I meet him?
Of course. Orson, can you come here, Angel?
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you, Orson. I'm Aurora.
I lost my ball.
Uh-oh. Well, where could it be?
I gave it to Zane, but he lost it.
Oh, I didn't even talk about
That's
the
his imaginary
Zane
friend.
conspiracy
Now I don't have
conspiracy
anything to
theory.
play with.
Orson, you have plenty of toys. He really does.
It's because I wanted to share with Zane.
Well, that is
Dude,
a very nice thing to
You
do.
see how we're watching the scene? All this just
Orson,
updated.
why don't you play close by while Aurora and I
game-
finish chatting?
It's stuttering and like lagging whenever it tries to load
Obviously,
in the scene
Bonavana
that's
takes
supposed to be
child neglect
playing.
seriously. But I'm not interested in removing a child unless absolutely necessary.
I did not neglect my child.
I'd like to set a few more meetings to confirm things have settled down for you two. Maybe you can start with a gesture to show that his needs are important to you. He mentioned wanting a new toy.
He's always been drawn to my childhood dolls. My mother ridiculed him for it, but I suppose with her gone, there's no harm in it.
He has to have some nice memories of her. Maybe a doll that helps him remember her
Take him
fondly.
away.
He's close with my father. Maybe a little hunter. Though I never liked having him around guns, even toys.
I understand you're a scientist? That's a wonderful thing for a child to aspire to.
I try not to smother him with my influence. Bad memories from my mother.
She's a good scientist
it never
too.
ends. I'll be in touch soon to set a follow-up.
She can
Until
tell
then,
what morphine is just by looking at the sample under a microscope. What is the sound? It's like the
Good to
audio
be home,
test in the theater.
So are we ever gonna talk about what happened the other
The
night?
like
How did Toby know
THX.
about the ritual?
Mommy, you're home!
Hi, sweetie.
I was scared today, but then I remembered the girl in the stone castle.
That's good, honey. Remember, the purifier keeps us safe.
Really?
Go get your PJs on. I'll be in soon.
Okay.
There goes the audio and everything
He
stuttering.
begged me, Rach. He's in a really bad place. I had to tell him something.
That's exactly what makes him dangerous. He's taking
Yeah.
advantage of you,
It's
Eric.
trying to load
playing
in the
off your
correct
empathy.
scene.
He just seems so desperate. I kept thinking about when we all first met, how we were all friends. Maybe a part of me was hoping we could go back to that.
You know that's never
The grown
going to
adult
happen.
voice on a tiny child.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that after the episode.
I swear, one day you'll let someone pull on your heartstrings so hard they'll rip your whole heart out.
When do we get voice actor
I need
credits?
you to talk
Yesterday.
to Toby.
About what?
We'll talk about it after the
Get him to
episode.
back down. Listen to him. Use your friendship to get him to rein it in. If he feels heard, maybe he'll back down.
I can give it a try.
Don't try. Do it. People are depending on us.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Okay.
Eric.
And don't tell him any more stuff about us. About the Foundation. We can't trust him.
Tell Eric to reason with him. Okay. There's so much to talk about. It's just loading scenes and bringing up like, hey, you're watching this because of a choice that you made like 8 days ago. When you had no idea how it was going to pan out or who any of these people were. This should be the boss fight. It might be boss fight time. Here we go. Everyone get ready. Everyone use your ult at the same time.
What is this place?
No cameos. It's a repeat. We've seen this. So, okay, so we're guaranteed a boss fight after all of the Endure segments, I guess? Because this is so far the same. Off to a good start. Here we go. Please don't do the QTEs. Yeah, fine. We're promised a boss no matter what. My bar's not going down. I think they had to rig to make sure the boss will happen. Yeah, I think they had to set this up just to guarantee a boss will show up. So we'll just sit back and watch until they show us something new. I was so good at this game. I've got a lot of experience playing Silent Hill games. Don't worry. I'm just built different. Still repeating scenes. This is the jump scare. My bar is still not going down, even though I haven't touched a QTE since the very start. Hell yeah.
Stay away! Stay away!
Stay away. It's weird that they even have like the same voice lines, like no matter what character it is. If it's Carl, if it's Toby, they say the same thing, they do the same thing.
No! No!
Knew this was going to be awful, but somehow it's so much worse. Yeah, that's, I think, pretty much how everyone felt about it. I wasn't expecting much out of this. And then ever since it released, like, the release was bad enough, and it was so much more horrible than anticipated. And every day, it just continues kind of getting worse. Like, the quality is continuously still going down. Animations are getting more and more like stuttery and laggy, and voice acting is getting worse and worse. It's so all over the place. Random features just break or change on the fly so that you never feel like anything you're doing impacts anything. It's just bad. It's so bad all around. Like, worse, somehow worse than anticipated. Even with expectations for this before it even launched being super low. Yeah. Oh, is that Zach Baggins? Mr. Baggins. We didn't get... Oh, boss fight. Boss fight. Tap to help the character escape. Why is it a picture of Carl? That's not Carl. I'm still not doing this, by the way. I'm not touching it. What is this? Oh my god. This screams. Missing sounds? I don't know. It sounded like they had to keep looping a stock scream or something. It was like a placeholder.
What was that? Who in the hell was that?
Yep. It's Fire Cage Monkey. Everyone's favorite Silent Hill creature. It's not Siam from Silent Hill Homecoming. It's not Pyramid Head, because he's got a different geometrically shaped head. It's totally new and different and cool. Yeah, it's not Cage Man from Evil Within. Okay. There was your boss mechanic. There was your boss fight. Did you like it? Okay. Tell me, chat, honestly. Whose minigame was better? The Endure segment was with the boss fight? Or my Find the Hidden Eduardo is PP puzzle game at the start of the stream? Which did you like more? Which was more fun? Gotta go with is PP, and not just because you're paid to say that. Thank you, I appreciate that. Hirimi, the other half of the Nub Zombie Interactive Live Experience dev team. Thank you so much.
Welcome
Shelling
back, everybody.
Lay.
Super delighted to have you here. My
Eduardo's
name is Eduardo.
back.
I'm joined by Shelling Lai. Super good to have you here with us.
Please say something meaningful,
So, by the way, we've
even
just seen
slightly.
quite the scene here.
Don't just
got an
recap
introduction
4
into-
times.
Well, the first time we saw a boss character. So, could you tell us a little more about what did we just see?
Yes. What did we see?
Illuminator is a boss fight, and it's a manifestation of some of the
What did she call it? The
trauma and horror
Fulminator?
of the characters in Norway. We also just saw, unfortunately, the card did not pot up. So what we're gonna do, the team's already on it. Sorry, I was rushing in here to make sure we got this out to you guys. But if you were watching the show and you did not get your IP comps, we're gonna do a grant to make sure everybody got compensated for that.
Nobody got
No matter
points.
how well you did, we're just gonna give you the full IP for doing.
Nobody
the
got
run.
points.
Yeah, so that's one of the nice.
The
parts,
results
actually.
screen
We're gonna
didn't
do
show up.
your director of
That's what she
production.
meant when
It's
she
actually
said the
nice to
card
have you
didn't pop
literally
up.
live with us, letting us know
The results didn't
about,
pop up,
you know, an
and so no
unfortunate
one
issue
got
we had, and
points.
that we're going to try to make the experience better for all of you at home.
I didn't even realize.
It's
I
good
wasn't
to
paying
have you,
attention.
like,
Who
because we're doing
cares?
the stuff behind the scenes. Instead,
But
we
we're
have
gonna
you
get
live on air
points.
to
They're
do it
gonna
for this one.
manually go in and give us
Anyways,
points.
By the way, during that scene, we actually saw somebody burning alive almost. So one of that was our cameo character. Now our production team's going to throw that up on screen about cameo contests, and it's something you can take
More
part in
information about
every day.
cameos.
You can be the extra in Silent Hill.
Please
Ascension,
tell me something
and
I don't
also,
already know.
Be a dead body, burned to a crisp, or be a Foundation member. Depending
You can
on
take
what
part
you
in
win.
cameos, be
Remember
the
that
extra.
cameos kind of close every day.
Okay.
At 6:30 p.m. Pacific or 9:30 p.m. Eastern, but you got a larger window to take part.
You're gonna tell us
And
anything
that's one
extra?
important aspect
How does the drawing
Silent
work?
Hill Ascension, it's this cameo system because it means that you, the audience member that gets lucky and chosen, gets to be a part of the Silent Hill canon forever. Now the thing is,
Silent
each
Hill
day,
canon forever.
You and others have to kind of enter this contest to have part in the series, and that's done by entering with influence
Yep,
points.
have your
And,
charred and burning
now,
corpse
I know,
be a part of
Shelly,
Silent
like,
Hill
cameos are
canon
something
forever.
Quite particular, right? Like, I mean, we have the cameo contest, but then like,
Yeah,
how do
they
we
haven't
actually get
even
them in
named the
scenes?
cameo. The name doesn't pop up like it used to. Oh,
It's okay. The fog is lifting. Don't worry, everybody at home. We're sorting
technical
it out. So
difficulties.
there's
technical
always,
difficulties. Don't worry. I
issues
got you.
to
I got you,
listen through,
Eduardo.
so I think the fog's lifted now.
Don't worry. I got you.
Oh.
Shaw?
Again, the fog's not quite gone.
Shaw,
We're gonna
is
get
your
that sorted.
is your audio good?
Also, Shelling had a cat. The cat might have walked on the keyboard and muted her. That's also a common problem.
Is Jacob there? Is
That
Jacob
happens,
there?
that
Okay,
happens.
okay.
Can
No,
you
we're
guys hear
good.
me now?
We're good.
Yes,
We're good.
Perfect. Thank you
Don't
so
worry.
much.
Okay. I'm
The door
person
is
who just
locked.
brings the live
Jacob can't get
troubleshooting
in.
Challenge to the hosted show.
Temporarily, he cut the power,
it's a
but
delight, but,
there's a backup generator.
So you were asking about cameos.
You got it. Yes.
So when you see the cameos appear in the show, those things are actually rendered day of the show. We don't know the results until the cameo contests close, and our cinematic artists actually take all of those specs, we put it into the show, and then we make sure to get it in. So it's a pretty tight timeline every day. It is one of the things that we really do enjoy working on. Having users be able to express, the community members express themselves and actually be able to put themselves into the story.
Yeah.
For the adventures,
I love
are
expressing
generated,
myself and putting myself into the story.
during the actual adventure itself. So some of the hiccups
I hope
you
one
might
day
see
my
are
cameo
related
will
to
happen.
that. I would say today we actually did pretty good. That's one of my favorite.
I can't wait for
cameo
Zach
experiences,
Baggins to be a part of
actually, is
Silent Hill
seeing that
history.
guy, kind of see the character and then turn around and go the oh shoot moment. Definitely one of my favorites. Now, today the community actually helped Astrid, but I'm just saying, if the community ever chooses to not help Astrid, that scene is pretty fun too. And you still get your points at the end of the day.
Good job, community.
You just get to see a little bit of a different story. So the community has a chance to kind of fight itself, whether you want to help Astrid escape or if you want to help reduce her hope a little bit in terms of how she views the future and what her final.
Aren't they supposed to be able to die?
Thank you for that insight as well here. By the way, for our audience,
Like
at
if their
home,
hope is
adventures
low
and adventure
enough?
only
Like aren't they
used to be
supposed to
before they
die
went
if you
live.
fail
But
those
honestly,
things?
they're kind of interchangeable. I actually really like both names.
I thought that's supposed to be
remember,
like the whole
again,
point of
Silent Hill
the
Ascension is an
the hope
entertainment experience. So if you want
mechanic.
to help the monster, feel absolutely free to do that in the future. Obviously, tonight it makes sense that you kind of helped our featured character. Now, all that said, Shelling, I kind of presented you as director.
But it's
of
rigged,
production.
yeah,
But,
because they have to show off
if
the
you could
boss
do
fight, and it's too early to kill
bit
off
of
Astrid.
explanation into kind of your role.
So
title,
it's
all that
completely rigged just to like show stuff off.
To demonstrate
They're
earlier,
trying to string people along.
because I do
They're trying to
joke
be like,
people
look at
that
this
it
cool
is
new
like
mechanic.
herding cats a lot of times. What that
And
actually
it was
means,
still
though,
the
at the end of
same
the day
pointless QTE with no feedback, like just with a bigger stupid monster on the screen.
To try to
That's your
get
boss
everything
fight.
to fit. There's timelines, there's usually budgets, and we coordinate with our experts and people responsible for different pieces and try to make sure that when they bring things in, it gets the QA pass, it gets the look from the creative folks. There's a lot of charts involved for some reasons: Gantt charts, burn down charts, waterfall charts, budget, workflow charts. I could nerd out about that.
Show
for a
some
while, but that would be
charts.
very boring for all of our audience members, and that is not what they are there.
Show me your
for
charts.
today. And I'd say,
Give me the data.
At the end of the day, if I was to succinctly summarize it, it's what is the team building? Who is going to be building it? That's what we track.
QA?
And then
They do
how
have
are we gonna
QA.
build it within the
They're in the
timelines and
credits.
deadlines that we've been given, so that
Now that we have
can
credits.
get, meet the criteria that that our leaders or our product.
They had a
owners want.
QA team.
Thank you so much for explaining all of that and making so hopefully you at home understand a little bit more about that. By the way, as you said, if we're going to talk about charts, I'm going to fall asleep. A Gantt chart is a great way for me to disappear. But you did mention team members, and I'm much more into people. So you discussed team members quite a bit. So what do you do with our development team?
Well, with interactive, a lot of it is taking, left brain people and right brain people, our creatives and our artists and our programmers and engineers who are very logically oriented and saying, we're
Okay.
going to build a thing together. And that can be really hard. There are some people who are good at both, but
Game
usually
development
people
is
are more
hard.
one than the other. And sometimes they disagree about how something
You
can be
certainly
done.
need people
And sometimes they don't know if
who
something
can do
be done, and
technical
they don't know how to
things
talk to
and
each other
people who
about
are
it. So
artists
we do a lot.
to
Part of
work
what
together.
producers do is to help bridge those communications.
That
Understanding
sure
what they
is how
do,
they make the
understanding
video
why it's
games.
hard, understanding where can we help, Or, you know, if we can't help directly, which oftentimes your producer can't, but the producer might know somebody who can, because our job
I've spaced out what's being talked about.
Understand all the different parts of the team.
A basic fundamental understanding of how different roles.
I mean, for the audience at
what
home, one of the
roles
important
different
things, if I didn't know what was
parts
up,
of
and I needed
game
to call on,
development
Silent Hill
producers
Ascension,
play.
During development, I would always ask Shaoling. Actually, that was one of the big things. But can you give an example? Oh, yeah, no, that's why I do it. But could you give us an example of this?
Yeah, actually, I was hoping you might let me do a demo here on the show with you. If you have a moment, I actually have some questions for you guys about the show.
Questions.
I'm sure we have team members watching. I'm sure we have community members watching today.
Oh, do we type our answers in here?
I have some questions for you, Eduardo, about what is the post show, and tell a little bit about
Can I answer?
You guys put this together, because I see so many team members working on it. There's a lot of effort.
I don't think it's working. I don't think chat's gonna let me provide any valuable feedback.
But there's a whole lot of work there. So tell us a little bit about that.
Sure, of course. I mean, I'm always happy to talk about my work. So, one of the big things is
tell me what your role
I
is.
call it as like there's a lot of small parts, but I kind of have to.
We're just explaining what our jobs are now.
The kind of tapestry weaving. We essentially know the broad strokes of what we want to talk about. We understand that you at home are probably interested in Silent Hill Ascension, the story. So we want to make sure that we do talk about.
We're real interested in the story,
the choices you're making, and what goes on. But every day is different.
Can't wait to see
and the audience choices,
the twists and turns.
The story. So as time goes on, we have to kind of adapt. So the big thing on my side is I do a lot of the content. So what I do is, along with Noah, we kind of source the information together, get it from different pieces that we have internally to make sure that we're bringing to you information that's relevant to the day. And if there's a small story,
it's pretty relevant to the day, because all you do is word for word recap the 3 minutes of animation that we just watched.
And on the other side, you never see him really.
It doesn't get more relevant than that. I mean, he's got a point.
After all, Shaoling and me don't really live near each other, nor Felipe. We're very distantly far. We're talking thousands of kilometers or miles.
But thanks to this new invention called the internet, we can all work together.
A live show, because the content you're watching is also live. You're watching it every day at 6 p.m. So it makes sense for us that we're relevant to you at the time you're watching it.
Are you reacting live when you see that content out there that day of? I get to see a lot of it. I saw it when I was in production, when we were in concept art, but are you reacting?
You typed "Hi Nub Zombie" and it was eliminated by moderation procedures. Any text input gets moderated out right now, because text is not allowed.
I probably know the pieces that are coming.
Only stickers and emotes.
Personally, Eduardo, try not to spoil myself, because I was able to be a little bit outside of the story. I wanted to make sure I kind of kept up to date as we go. Now, for specifically my co-hosts, Noah, who you saw earlier, or Layla, who you saw on Wednesday, they actually know a lot more, because they were deeply involved in the development team, and they kind of know the story.
Noah and Layla are the ones who are
like involved in
those are our story knowledgeable devs.
And Silent Hill Ascension existed, so they're much
those are the
more
ones who were deeply involved. Yeah, Layla spoiled shit.
I try to discover things as I go, but as a result, I'm always surprised when I watch. I mean, I specifically did not want to. I knew the name was the Immolator, but I didn't want to specifically say
the Immolator,
because I didn't want to spoil it for you at home.
That's
but I didn't actually know what the
Fire
like,
Cage Head Gorilla Man.
So I could watch while our poor audience member get burnt to a crisp.
Very unfortunate, and yet also very cool moment at the same time. I have one last question for you. So you mentioned this on Monday. If you're going out to a cafe, is it coffee or tea?
So while I like a good cappuccino,
riveting.
For me, tea can't be beaten. Blame
Team Tea.
Kingdom, I guess, for that one. But I love if I could go for
who's Team Tea with me?
That's a treat. But I love going to a tea shop, discovering
Fuck
different
Team
things. In
Coffee.
the morning, I love a good Earl Grey. In the afternoon, sometimes a matcha, something a little more creamy, or a green tea that I can take my time with.
Yeah.
And in the evening, I like a good oolong that I can reinfuse, or if I'm with family or friends, a good herbal tea.
Oh my God, we're talking about Eduardo's tea preference.
In the evening. That's
We know
a
more
choice.
about Eduardo than we know about
It's a
any of the
special treat. It's not
characters
something
in
I
your
do every-
story
it's
that you're
probably
trying to
something I'll do
pitch.
tonight specifically because tomorrow, well, I'll be relaxing. So specifically, I like it on evenings, which will go longer.
Very good.
Well, I mean, yeah, whoa, I gotta take control of this.
Whoa, whoa, you're going crazy, Eduardo. You almost let something slip.
All that said, look, here's the thing. Let's do one final question at least, just to
He was
make sure
about
we
to
got
start
this one
going
down.
off on Earl Grey, man. He's glad
without
glad
kind
you
of
caught yourself.
spoiling the story for us, like outside of spoilers, what can people at home in the audience look forward to soon?
You know, when you were asking me that question, part of me was like, we should play this as like 2 truths and a lie. Where you just bring developers on and they'll tell you 2 things that will happen and then 1 thing that won't happen, and then
You've already been telling us mostly lies.
Maybe we can throw that at Martin next week.
You've already been playing like 5 lies and 1 truth.
Next week,
Like
so that's one thing the team
every time we do one of
can
these
look forward
streams.
to if you got questions. We are working on
There's
more
millions of
interscenes,
people
so
logging in
that is
and
coming.
interacting with
We
Silent
next
Hill
week, we
Ascension
already
every
saw
day.
a shorter version of the content, so we try to make it a little
Day
little
1, you can
speedier.
get a refund if you're
Try to make sure that folks
unsatisfied
do
with
get
the
a
season
chance to see
pass.
those boss fights at the end of it. The team is still tweaking and making adjustments, so please bear with us. The feedback is heard, and we really appreciate anybody who wants to keep sending feedback into us. It is super helpful and very, very much, again, appreciated. We'll get more updates next Wednesday to you guys, but we are continuing to work on the smoothness and stability of people's experiences. There are a lot of different devices that, PC to mobile, that do connect to watch the show, and we're still working out and chasing down some of those hard to find bugs. Now, when I talk about bugs, I always think about the little critters in the Endura streams. I don't know if people know this, but their little antennae are fingers. And
Yeah.
so it's kind of just sticks out, and all their little legs are fingers too. It's so
Yep.
cute.
Oh yeah,
They got little people
if
faces,
you
and
got
their
a
legs and
plushie of
antennas
any
are
of-
fingers.
So many of them, actually. If we were to talk about monsters, we would be here the rest of the night, and I would just gush about them. So moving on, the team is also very excited. They have a lot
I mean,
of
that's at least
ideas
something.
about
That's at
what
least
we can
something.
do
Not
to
everybody
improve
might
the
have known
experience
that.
people are having to fix
Because
some
they
of the
barely show
kind
their
of challenges
creatures,
that
and when they do,
our
they're
audiences
usually
have.
so
They're
obscured
very eager to implement it. They're throwing ideas
that you
out
can't
there,
even
and
really
we're
make
kinda
out
going
what
through
the
them
fuck you're
every
looking
day.
at.
And next few weeks, again, we are here. We are
That would have
signed
been the
up
most
here
interesting
for
thing
several
you
more
could have
months of
continued to
content,
talk
and
about. It's
every
like
single
monster
day on
design or
the
something.
Development side, we are definitely going to be working on making improvements to all of
So
that for you.
I like how she's like, "Wow, we got to
I think
move
that's
on
what
from that
people can
topic."
expect. Thank you so much for having me on.
No, of course.
Great.
And again, we have you on Monday. You helped introduce the email.
I
address,
like the dev
feedback
stream where they
at
talked
gmail.com,
about
which is a way
tea
people
for
to
a
kind of reach out with
long
feedback. Outside of,
time.
the
That
typical
was
public
my
forums where we
favorite.
kinda,
What about you,
pick and
chat?
choose,
What's
as
been
we
your
go.
favorite
And also,
pre and
we do
post show
now,
with the devs so
development
far?
updates every Wednesday evening in the post show, just so that you at home have a regular chance to catch up with what we're doing that changes the experience. Now, before you
CEO?
head off, Charlene,
Day
we got a
2
decision
dev
that
live
happens
stream.
to open today. Our production
The
team's
most
gonna throw that on screen.
defensive
And this isn't a fake decision.
grown man
and you'll
trying
kinda
not
see
to
why
cry
when I
on
tell you what
camera
it is.
ever.
It's the what kind of
That
doll
is
will
pretty hard to
Astrid
top.
get Orson, right? They were discussing
Has the
that in
CEO come
scene
back
today,
on
right?
since the
Is it
first
a
time?
hunter doll, a
No.
grandma
He was here for
doll,
day 1 and day
side to side?
2.
A lot of decisions are life and death.
And
This
then after
one,
that, he turned
a lot
off
less,
replies
but
on his
still
Twitter
important,
account
right? What's the relationship
and
between
refuses
lover
to
and
show
doll?
up on stream
What
ever
do you go
again.
for your Charlene?
Well, I don't want to spoil it, but I will say, when we do give people, even if it's a minor decision, and it seems
What kind of
small,
doll will
we do
Astrid get
build out that
Orson? A
content.
hunter
So
doll, a grandma
part
doll,
of the things
or
that
a scientist
people don't vote
doll?
for, we still created, and you don't get to see it. So there is a version. There are 3 versions of that doll, and depending on what happens in the story, it will be a different version of the doll that actually shows up.
Shabby doll?
And I will tease
No,
out that
it's not
stuff
called the
happens to
shabby
that
doll in this.
and it may or may not be symbolic. Of course. It is.
Hold on. They have the Silent Hill 4 shabby doll in here, but they call it something else. Here it is, the creepy doll. They literally did like an MS Paint trace over the Silent Hill 4 shabby doll icon. We could get it for the low price of 158,000 points right now, too. $1,500? I think that's worth.
Happened here, right? And I have to say, sometimes I know it's a bad choice for the character, but it is also the fun one.
Yeah, and there's a bit of a balance, right? So one of the things for me that's important is character development, right? It's like characters having a cohesion over time. But the audience at home is discovering the characters, and I mean, I wasn't live during that decision with like Toby attacking the Foundation or the Redemption and Damnation options where the Damnation.
I thought you said Haunter.
That was definitely very close.
Give Orson a Haunter doll.
Yeah, I mean, Toby is
just get him into Pokemon. He'll be fine.
I think he is what in internet terms you call a garbage child, but we all can't help loving him.
Everyone
anyway.
loves Pokemon.
He tries so hard, he gets it so wrong.
And on that note, now that we know that Shaoling indeed likes Toby, we're gonna end it here. We're nearing the end of our show. So for those of you who have joined us here,
okay,
in the pre-show,
it's almost over.
The first 2 weeks of the story, Pennsylvania and Norway. In Pennsylvania, there were kind of those big movements going on, right? Especially that moment where Toby enters the Foundation, the ritual, the monster there. In Norway, it's really starting to be about that relationship between Astrid and Orson. We're starting to see that come more to light. But I hope you were with us from the start.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shaoling.
We're getting to see Astrid and Orson bond
Ascension,
over their conversations with the CPS agent,
if you go in
the
there,
fucking social worker,
the screen to switch,
really,
and you get to raise characters,
really driving that relationship together.
You always get to relax.
A lot of emotions.
So
running high with Astrid and Orson.
We're gonna put that up on screen. So we do the pre-show.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday,
5:40 p.m. Pacific,
20 minutes before the show.
Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. The show is every day, rain, sunshine, or fog, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And then we have our poster that happens right after, again, Monday, Wednesday,
it's
Friday.
It's the same.
So, again, Shaoling, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks again for having me.
It was a great delight. And I will be now.
Thanks for asking about tea.
I was Eduardo. This was Shaoling. We also had Noah earlier, who's also saying bye. I'll do it on her behalf. That said, I hope you had a great time tonight, and we'll see you next time.
You missed the last 4 days. Has anything happened? Yeah, you missed tonight's boss fight, the first boss fight. Well, that's Silent Hill Ascension. Day 11. Yeah, there was a boss fight. It's basically the same exact QTEs as the normal sections. Except it's a little bit different overlay. The graphic for it is a little different. The input is exactly the same as just tapping. They showed the wrong graphic. They showed a graphic for Carl, even though it was Astrid who was supposed to be fighting the boss. And I didn't interact with it at all. I thought I was supposed to get manual points. Where's my points? Oh, they added them. Look at that. I just went from 2.9 to 4.4. They kept good on their promise. We got points for the boss fight. We did good. We did good. I didn't touch the QTE at all. What a fun day. You didn't get any points? Damn. I don't even know if that was a point reward or if that was stuff that I had already spent rolling back. It's a mystery. It's part of the mystery. You didn't get your boss points? Boss was so pointless, literally didn't even work since the bar never moved. Yeah. Well, again, I think those are supposed to be segments that like can determine whether or not a character dies. So tonight it was clearly rigged so that it would happen no matter if the community passed or failed. Like they set it up so that there was no way the community could fail the endure segments before the boss to guarantee that the boss would happen. And they can't just kill off Astrid or anything 11 days in. I mean, supposedly they could if the community was actually choosing things and impacting the story in meaningful ways, but that's clearly not the case. So, yeah, allegedly. But no, there's they were just trying to show it off. And yeah, it's the same. It's a bigger monster, but again, it's just fucking tap the screen QTEs where nothing really changes if you succeed or fail because it's all up to the quote unquote community, which is easily manipulatable. Like they can easily just decide if they want to show the community is passing or failing, because there's no way for us to know. There's no way for us to just be like, yeah, sure, I guess everybody else was trying and the community succeeded. Credits. Really quickly, I wanted to talk about credits. So now that full episodes, the first weeks, like every week, they just give you a few minutes at a time, right? Every day, rather. And then once a week, they compile everything for that week together into like one episode of a show. And the first episode is now up on Tubi and a bunch of other things. So you can watch it in 4K. It doesn't have the text overlays that tell you like the names of the cameos and things like that. And more importantly, at the end of the episode, there's credits. You can watch this on Tubi, Shaggy Jeebus. You can watch the first episode anyway. Basically, everything that happened last week. You can watch it on Tubi. I don't know why, but you can. So let me pull up the voice cast, which you can see here. So the chief creative officer of Genvid is Stephen Bugaj, spelled Bugaj. And so Stephen Bugaj would have been chief creative officer. He would have had a lot of input on the project of Silent Hill Ascension overall, and the story and the development and everything. And his children are the voice actors for Orson and Faith. So Faith Hernandez is Steven's little bit older daughter, Nadia, and Orson is voiced by Steven's son, Zane, which is interesting. So really quickly, there's a lot of stuff with Zane, and I don't know how else to talk about it. It sounds like the fucking this is gonna sound like Pepe Sylvia, like trying to explain shit and sounding crazy. So Stephen Bugaj is the chief creative officer, the CCO of Genvid. His daughter, Nadia Bugaj, voices Faith Hernandez. His son, Zane Bugaj, voices Orson. Orson, in the story, has been seeing a person named Zane Davies, who is known as the Man in the Fog, also known as the Voyager. And there is, so Devolver Digital, a lot of people know Devolver and their games, and if you've ever seen Devolver at like any game award shows and stuff, they do a lot of crazy live action skits and things like that. Well, a lot of their live action skits have a recurring character named Zane. Hold on, let me make sure I get all this correct. So Devolver Digital has a recurring character from some of their live action skits. Let's see, Zane. Where is it? Stultz. Zane Stultz is the Devolver Digital live action recurring character. Zane Stultz is played by an actor named Adrian DiGiovanni, who is also the voice of the male cameos in Silent Hill Ascension. So he's the guy who said, "A withering here?" And that's the end of my crazy Zane conspiracy theory. I don't have anything else to add to that, other than, gee, that's a lot of Zanes. Just a weird thing that I came across while doing research. The fucking name scroll. Oh yeah, thanks everybody for these are all the top contributors today of scam points here on the Twitch channel. As always, a big shout out to everybody there for contributing the most scam points. We do have a community goal currently. There's 7 days left, so next Friday, if you would like the webcam turned on for next Friday's Silent Hill Ascension stream, there's a community goal that everybody can contribute towards. We're almost there. We're almost there. There's already 65,000, almost 66,000 scam points contributed towards that goal. We're almost there. So if you would like to see the webcam turned on for next Friday's Silent Hill Ascension stream, you can rally together as a community and contribute your scam points towards a common goal. And of course, once again, just to remind everyone, for everyone who was here at the start of the stream that participated in our first Is PP, our first interactive scam point puzzle. The first Is PP in a long line of Is PPs. Everyone did great. You got 1 star for finding Eduardo, the hidden Eduardo. So again, really well done on the mini game at the start of the stream for everyone who participated. Did we get a moment? I was going to give everybody a moment for completing the Is PP, everyone who was here. And Twitch unfortunately removed moments. I was legitimately going to have moments for people to collect, and Twitch removed the feature. So very unfortunate. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks everybody for coming by, for keeping me company for another day of this train wreck. What an episode it was. I'm sure something happened. We finally got to talk to Aurora, the the social worker. What an amazing progression to this world-class story of psychological horror and trauma. But yeah, thank you all so much. I really appreciate you being here. Seriously, much love. And we're gonna go raid somebody. So if you would like to join in the raid, if you're not already following the channel, follow the channel for extra scam points. If you join in for the raid, you'll get some extra scam points. Let's see. We're gonna go raid my friend Catlink. Catlink is playing some Street Fighter 6. She has like there's like a streamer team competition for Street Fighter 6 that's coming up. So I know Bakba Soup is gonna be playing, and he's on like a different team than Catlink. It's a lot of people who I know who are not really fighting game players, who are doing their best to like learn and compete in this. So we're gonna go raid Cat. Please wish her luck in the competition. Give her, let her know that Nub sent ya. Be supportive, be nice. Catlink, she's a good friend of ours. She's also a world-class speedrunner for many Silent Hill games, many Resident Evil games. So you may already know Catlink if you follow a lot of Silent Hill speedrunning and Resident Evil and stuff like that. You've probably seen her at GDQ. Catlink's awesome, so please show her some love. And I will see you all tomorrow for another episode of Silent Hill Ascension. Tomorrow is Saturday, so this is going to be our big stream. Tomorrow is going to be an extra long stream where we focus on the story. We're going to go back over everything that happened so far. So we're going to go over it all in great detail. So if you're curious about learning more about how terrible this story has been so far, I'll see you tomorrow, where I explain it in more detail than anybody in the world actually wants. So I'll see you then. Take it easy. Peace.